Hello guys and welcome to today's Los Blancos podcast. Today we will be doing the Girona review because it was a walloping. It was a destruction job on Girona yesterday night. 4-0 victory over Girona at the Bernabeu. It was just a ridiculous game from Real Madrid. It was probably the best performance this season. I think it's quite fair to say. Maybe the Barcelona performance was better, but it was just fantastic. You know, it was one of those games where everything went right for us, and to put it to the least, Girona just completely shit the bed. I think it's probably the best expression to use. Girona just couldn't handle us. I thought Vini had a fantastic performance, and I just think, you know, for what they, you know, coming into this game, it was billed as the title showdown. I definitely saw it as the title showdown. We had our two centre backs missing, obviously on top of the already Militao and Alaba injury. So ultimately, this was a huge game. So what did you think of this game coming into it?
Yeah, it was a big game. We were only 2 points ahead of the second place team, which we played Girona. Normally, if we play Barcelona or Atletico Madrid, we are 2 points ahead or 1 point ahead of whoever is on top of the table. It's built as a game that's going to decide the title. So I think this was an important win. Although they didn't play like a team that's in second place, they played more like a team that's maybe a mid-table team that has nothing to play for. You know, they missed a lot of players, but so did Madrid. But of course, they don't have the squad depth like we do. So of course, they didn't look anything like a title team or anything like a team that could compete for titles. And we know what they are capable of. We know how good their attackers. We know how fluid their footballers, and we must say it was a good defensive showing by the entire team, and they kept Girona as far away from the defense as possible. That Luna didn't really have much to do, and that must be commended. It was an entire good team effort.
Yeah, I mean, what I'm going to do now is try to attempt to briefly lock down what Girona tries to do in terms of their tactical system and how Ancelotti, you know, ultimately completely stopped them. So, you know, they tend to build up from the defence, and they build up from the back. We saw them try to do that quite a few times yesterday, and they did lose the ball quite a few times in that situation. Obviously, the ball goes out to Alex Garcia or Yangel Herrera, who he wasn't playing yesterday. He was suspended last week. It went out to Alex Garcia, who tries to get it forward and then tries to get out wide to the fullbacks, Jan Couto or Miguel Gutierrez, and then those players obviously cut it back to Arda and Back, who has been banging them in so far this season. But what Ancelotti did so fantastically was he made sure that the source of the ball into Arda and Back wasn't there. Girona had 0 shots on target in this game. They had 5 shots overall, which, you know, is unheard of from Girona. They tend to get their shots off. They tend to get their way with how they want to play. And I think where we succeeded was because of the fact that we made sure that Miguel Gutierrez and Jan Couto couldn't get up the field. You know, I think he did this by playing Rodrygo and Vinicius and really high, really wide, making sure that, you know, Jan Couto and Miguel Gutierrez could not get forward because they had to keep on Vinicius and Rodrygo. And I just think overall that stopped plenty of Girona attacks. They couldn't do anything about it because you can't leave Vini on his own, just, you know, against Eric Garcia, because that is for a bloodbath. But, you know, overall there was a bloodbath anyway. Jan Couto completely struggled against Vini, and I think this overall we stopped the Girona attacks. And, you know, this one-off game where we're not going to have centre backs, I think it was the perfect idea, and we completely stopped their source of chance creation. It was fantastic from Carlo Ancelotti, in my opinion. This was a tactical masterclass in the prevention of chances for Girona. And I just think, Yeah, it was brilliant from Carlo Ancelotti on this front. So, what did you think about our defensive performance first of all? Because I think that formed the basis of what we did offensively.
Yeah, I must admit that the defense, like I said before, we actually stopped them from getting as close as possible to our makeshift backline. Which was important because I believe under the constant pressure against Atletico Madrid, we eventually got in a goal at the end. I think Ancelotti ensured that didn't happen this time. I think when we got the goal this time, we kept on pushing for another one, which was important to kill the game. So that's good. In addition to the defenders, I think Chouameni in the air he is fantastic in the air. What he brought to the table today in the air was missed against Atletico Madrid. I think he's been a better centre back than actually this season. I think he's not looking out of place. If I'm being honest, he's not looking out of place at all. If I didn't follow Madrid and I'm seeing him play, I would just automatically think it's Rudiger in the backline because of how calm he is on the ball, how good he is in the air, how good he is in intercepting and covering for his teammates. I think he had a wonderful game. In my opinion, I think Carvajal looked really good in left centre back. Of course, for a player that's not a centre back, I think that's good. But I've actually been one of the only individuals saying that Carvajal can be a good centre back, but in a back three, in my opinion, I think similar to Azpilicueta, he can function in a back three later down in his career. That's why I believe that even if Madrid sign a fullback, he can still be an important player. He can still start important matches. I think he's a smart, intelligent player. He's having a good season. Mendy as well locked down the entire left flank again. You could have seen that Savio. I think that's the attacker's name. I always don't get it correct, but he had a quiet game and he only had a few moments of shine when Mendy was taken off and Garcia came in at left back. Lucas was a constant threat down his flank. Garcia made some intelligent attacking movements in his little cameo as well. And the entire midfield pulled their weight. Camavinga, Valverde did so much running, to cut out any spaces and to help out their fullback. And of course, early in the game, you have seen both Vinicius and Rodrygo tracking back. Vinicius isn't really the one who tracks back a lot, but in that game, you could have seen him playing so deep sometimes in defense, with Bellingham sometimes being the highest player on the pitch. So it was a good team performance.
Yeah, I mean, with your Carvajal point, I remember you did say that a little while back when we were talking about Zidane's back three, his experiments with that. And I think, Danny Carvajal's aggression, he's always had that aggression from right back. I think he's always going to somewhat compensate for the lack of height that he has. I think he's always the one to rise for a header, even if he's against a taller attacker. He's always going to be the one trying to win it, trying to just be aggressive, and I think that's always going to help him in that regard. In terms of Savio or Savinho, as some people call him, I think so far this season he's been absolutely incredible. But Ferland Mendy just locked him down, made sure he was really quiet. He didn't really have many opportunities to spread his legs and try and attack us. Igankov wasn't really that great either. And these are two guys who have been really, really, really impressive this season so far. And they just couldn't get going really in this game. I think Christian Porto wasn't great either. He was really quiet. And overall, these guys who have been really, really good this season, they couldn't supply anything for Dovbyk. Dovbyk could just isolate it up front, and I just think we did a really good job defensively of just separating the three phases for Girona, which is normally really fluid for them. We separated their defense from their midfield, and then midfield from the attack, and then the wingers from the striker. I think we just did a fantastic job at doing that. And overall, so far this season, Barcelona have not been able to do so. Atletico Madrid have not been able to do so. Athletic Club have not been able to do so. Real Sociedad did last week, though, to be fair to them. And overall, they normally look so fluid, look so well connected, and it just looks like it seems like they're going to score the same goal over and over and over again. Yet yesterday they just didn't look that fluid, didn't look that great, and I just think it was just a testament to what Carlo Ancelotti put forward tactically yesterday evening, and it was just fantastic. So I was really impressed by that. Have you got anything else to say on their defence? Because I do want to move on to Vini and Bellingham, the real star performance of this game.
No, there's nothing necessary on the defense, but when have no saves to make, and it's a comfortable night for him, and there's no debate with the goalkeeper and the defense as well.
Yeah, what I will say, one last thing. Tchouaméni had some nice timely interventions in the middle. Whenever they tried to put a cross in, Tchouaméni was there in the right position. So that was nice to see. But hopefully Rudiger can come back soon enough. Obviously, it seems like it's going to be a couple more weeks. But Nacho probably did that from midweek, but let's see what happens with that. Going forward then, because this is where Real Madrid excelled in this game. It was absolutely incredible for me, man of the match, Vinicius Junior. He was, we've talked about how Vini's had a poor season. Coming to his standards, it's been a poor season, but he's had two of his best performances in a Real Madrid shirt so far this season. The game against Barcelona, he just completely exploited Barcelona's defense, and in this game, I've been one to support Yan Couto. I've been saying that he's a fantastic player, and I think 10 million for him is a bargain, and I do maintain that he's not a strong defender as it showed yesterday, and he didn't get the opportunity to really attack yesterday either, which is obviously his strong point. But he just got completely torched by that is the best winger in the world. When Vini plays like that, he is the best winger in the world, and he just got completely torched Yan Couto. The first goal, no one could do anything about that. That was just that was ridiculous from Vini. That finish is something that Cristiano Ronaldo would have scored in the early Real Madrid days. That is something you would have seen under Jose Mourinho, something that he would have done. And Vini did that with real effortless, in the early parts of the game, just opened it up for us, and we were laughing at that point. And then the second goal, the assist, wow. You can't. That's something that you just can't replicate. It's ridiculous. That Trivela is just something Modric would do on the daily basis, but for Vini that is a ridiculous assist, and the way it just curves perfectly for Bellingham to run onto, and the way Bellingham rounds the keeper and finishes it off perfectly. It's just fantastic. It's so well executed, and it's something that I love from this team, because you don't see it at Man City happening because of the fact that they're more system players. I love the individuality of this team, and I love the fact that these guys can express themselves like this, and I think Vini was fantastic with that. And then the third goal as well, it was Vini's dribble, and I think it did go down as a Vini assist, which is nice with the stat padding as well. But the dribble, the way he cooked Yan Couto, he cooked the support as well. Eric Garcia tried to intervene, but it was too late, and Vini made the shot on Gazaniga, but it rebounded off of him, and Jude Bellingham cleaned up. So it was just a fantastic performance from Vini, and so many occasions where Vini just made Yan Couto look like a clown. To be totally honest, I think Michel completely misunderstood that one-on-one. Yan Couto's not a strong defender. You shouldn't have put him one-on-one with Vinicius Junior. When Vini did struggle, you had double teams, triple teams on him. Yet it was just a straight one-on-one, and you just knew Vini was going to absolutely tear into him in this game. And it was just a complete utter humiliation for Yan Couto, and it's a bit of a shame for him. I did feel sorry for him at the end of the day, because this was his audition for Real Madrid, but he did fail at the end of the day, and let's see what happens with him. But overall, Vinicius Junior, I was so pleased with his game. He was fantastic. What are your thoughts on Vini?
Yeah, I think he involved in every single goal. One goal, two assists. Well, it should have been three assists in my opinion because he did win the ball for Rodrygo, which did count as assist. Normally, when a player hits a shot and is saved by the goalkeeper and rebounded into the goal, then it's counted as an assist. But not all official stat websites will count that as an assist, but nevertheless, he was involved in all goals, and it seems that he is getting back to his best, even though this was one of the best performances of the season. It seems that he is getting back close to his best. Constantly, when I mean his best, I mean consistently showing a high level in each game. Because he's had really good games this season, then he's chopped off a bit, whether it's due to injury or due to just form or due to team tactics. He hasn't been at his best. But finally in this game, it shows that he's doing well, especially after an injury. He's confident, which is good. The way both teams were set up actually suited him. He had constant opportunities to go out there and counter, and I think he took advantage of it. So that's good, especially with the Champions League coming up. We know that he is a Champions League knockout, the top form player, just similar to Rodrygo. So with both players getting on the score sheet before Champions League night, that's going to mean one thing coming into the game against Leipzig in June. So Rodrygo had a quieter night, but of course we know on the right wing he isn't as effective when he plays left wing or when he plays as a false number 9. I think on the right wing he isn't at his best. He's still okay, but it's not one of his best performances. But with Bellingham, that run that he made for the goal reminded me of like maybe a top striker. It's something similar to how Haaland moves. Or within that left space, it's similar to how Haaland would finish, how Haaland would make his runs into the box. And in that moment, I was like, maybe this guy can't play as a striker, but he also did well jumping in deep into the midfield positions. The way he jumped deep to feed pressure for us yesterday, really, in the game was fantastic, And he got 2 goals, but of course, the first goal was the best one due to how quick he made that run, similar to one of the best strikers in the world. So that's important for him to get back into the score sheet. He's had a kind of a dry spell as of late, but to have him back is a good feeling. It's one of the best feelings because he has been our best player this season. And of course, we know that Vinicius is like the main man of the team, I think. But Bellingham has been our best player this season, in my opinion. So that's good that he's back on the score sheet. That's good that our 2 best players, Vinicius and Bellingham, that they both are starting to finally show how good they can link up, and they're both on the score sheet, and they were both phenomenal on today.
Yeah, and what I will say as well, on top of that, the 4th goal obviously scored by Rodrygo. It was a typical, I don't know how to explain it, but it was something that I would expect Rodrygo to score. It felt like a Rodrygo goal, that 4th goal. He just took it from basically the halfway line and just took it, and no one really could lay a foot on him. They couldn't get near him, and at the end he just fell over, but he still sort of solidly finished it, put it in the back of the net, and it just felt like a Rodrygo goal. And it's not been often this season where all three of them have performed at this level together. They have not performed together at the same level. Whenever it was Rodrygo and Bellingham playing well together, Vini was injured. Whenever it was Vini and Bellingham playing together, Rodrygo was going on a dry spell. It just felt like we were having them play well, but it just was not together. And this was the first time, I think, this season all 3 of them have performed well together. And I just think coming into the Champions League on Tuesday, I think it is Tuesday, we're playing against RB Leipzig. I think that's going to be huge to have. These guys are going to be coming into that game against RB Leipzig with all 3 of them in form, and that's just going to be a huge added factor for us. So what are your thoughts on Rodrygo overall?
Yeah, like I said, he didn't have like a top night like Vinicius and Bellingham did. He had a good night. He linked up well. He worked hard in defense as well. And of course, you can sort of see at his best moment came with the goal, like closer to the left half spaces or closer to the left, when he's able to dribble effectively and more direct, to the goal. I think that was his best moment, and it's no coincidence that it came when he picked up the ball on the left. So that's good for him. That's a good moment for him. Of course, we know what he can do. We know that he is, let's say, the backup to Vinicius on the left, but still a starter on the right wing or through the middle. So hopefully he can maybe be a bit more consistent and be a bit more into the game when he is on that side. But however, we all know that Madrid is a more left-oriented team, especially because that's where Toni Kroos plays, and I believe that where Toni Kroos plays, that's where the attack is going to go through. That's the thing that he needs. And that's why I guess Valverde usually in past seasons, doesn't really have all the touches on the ball as you would expect. But nevertheless, Tony on the left hand side makes Vinicius' game better. He makes Bellingham's game better. I think that there isn't a player on the right side, that could do the same thing, because they're not the same midfielders. We have a lot of talented midfielders, but they're not like Toni Kroos who can control the game. So I believe that when he does retire, Bellingham will of course have to jump deeper to aid in that in ball progression and taking control of the game, which of course would hinder statistics. But it's something that we might need him to do unless we somehow find a player who does what Toni Kroos does in terms of controlling the game. Maybe find a young Thiago or something like that, because there will never be another player like Toni Kroos, in my opinion. At least in the near future. But back to Rodrygo now. I have a lot of faith in him, just like I do with Vinicius, and I do fear that if someone like Mbappe comes, it's going to be a bit more difficult for him, and then he's going to have more quieter games, and there'll be more noise, and he might be benched more. So for me, for the past year, I've always said that if Mbappe comes, he's going to make the team better, and we're going to win games that we have shown in past seasons, like last year, if I'm being honest. But my main target is Julian Alvarez, because he's a good striker. He links up play well. He's going to help Vinicius and Rodrygo more than Mbappe or Haaland will, in my opinion. And I think he will suit Madrid more than Haaland. And even Mbappe suits Madrid in terms of the style and the branding, I think Julian would coexist better with Vinicius and Rodrygo. And it's going to be good things for all parties involved. Less money, less drama. And we have to remember that Bayern Munich, they didn't have Cristiano, they didn't have Messi, but the entire front line, the entire midfield, even the entire backline and the goalkeeper were all considered at least in the top 25 best players in the world, in my opinion. And some even top 5, some even top 10 or top 3 in 1 year. We don't need to have the quote-unquote best player in the world to be the best team in the world, because if we have players, if our entire front three can be at least the top 5 in the world, and then or even top 10, and the midfield is top 5 players, and the back line we have good players, and our goalkeeper is the best in the world, and our backup goalkeeper is amazing, then we don't need to have the best player in the world. And that's just how I see it. If we can have a constant core of good backup players, because of course, if I'm looking at the squad, I know that I went off on the Rodrygo thing, but that's why I started the conversation, because certain players, if we sign certain players, Rodrygo is going to be a bit more quieter. I'm looking out for this squad and how signing can impact this squad, but that's just how I see it.
Yeah, I mean, Rodrygo had been experiencing a dip in form before this game, and I think he's been quite disappointing before this game. We'd reached that curve in Rodrygo's season where he was back to being poor, after the ridiculous form that he showed during December and January. He was back at the slump. So I was a bit concerned about that, but it's been fine. Obviously, I don't want to talk about Mbappe because we don't want to repeat ourselves. That's ultimately the case in this saga. We just keep ending up repeating ourselves, and obviously made my thoughts on Julian Alvarez clear as well. I think he's a fantastic player, and I'd be so happy if we'd signed him. But yeah, I think Rodrygo's obviously going to be the victim if one of those players is signed, and I think, if we want to keep Rodrygo happy, maybe we're going to have to try to adhere to him a little bit more. But I think, he could be a victim. Remember what happened with Di Maria, with Mesut Ozil. Those players had to leave because Gareth Bale was signed. That's just the cruel nature of it. These players have to leave eventually. But I think an appropriate place to move on to would be Toni Kroos, because wow, what a performance it was from him. He was just magnificent. I thought he was just, his passing, I think he misplaced one pass in the whole game, I think it was. I think that was the stat, and I think he was just excellent. There is just not, putting him alongside Camavinga, Valverde, Bellingham, and Tchouaméni when he comes back into midfield, it's given him a second life as a Real Madrid midfielder, and I hope that he signs that extension for one more year. Let's see what we can do, because I think he is still world class. This guy is still world class. I saw a thread on Twitter last week, one where it was like he was comparing him to the other midfielders of this generation in terms of passing statistics, and whoever it was, whether it was Rodri, whether it was De Bruyne, whether it was Trent, whether it was whoever, Toni Kroos completely cleared them on every passing metric, and I think it was just fantastic to see that. And I think the closest someone came was Xabi Alonso's season in 13-14, maybe. I think it might have been one of the Bayern seasons actually. So that was the closest it had been for Toni Kroos. But this new role for Toni Kroos, where he's playing ultimately like a quarterback, I think is probably the best analogy. He's playing like a quarterback, just spraying passes from in between two centre backs. He's just spraying passes around. He's controlling everything. Andrea Pirlo is, Xabi Alonso is the best role that I think he's exhibiting right now, and I think he's playing at some of his best football at Real Madrid in seasons where he's meant to be washed. This is a guy who's 33, I think he is, and he's playing some of his best football yet, and I just think he's not ready to go. I don't think he's ready to go. I think he's still got plenty of football left. Just a question. What age was Xabi Alonso when he retired? Because I think Kroos will go out at a similar age there.
I think he was. I don't think he was anything more than 33. I believe. I don't think he was even more than 33. But I can check it now for you. But I don't even think he was past 33. I think he wanted to leave at the top.
Yeah.
I think he left at the top, and I think that it was a good decision. But let me check that.
Yeah, I think overall I just think Toni Kroos will have a similar end as Xabi Alonso. I think him, Philipp Lahm as well. Philipp Lahm left at the top. I think those guys are all gonna have.
I think it's 35.
Yeah, so I think 2 more years, please, Tony. Please, just extend for 2 more years. I think that's what everyone wants to see at the end of the day. So hopefully this guy stays for a couple more, because he's got so much football left in his legs, man. He's still so fantastic. So what are your thoughts about Toni Kroos' performance?
Yeah, like I said, he plays on the left, and whoever plays on the left is going to benefit, especially if they play deeper, like Vinicius and Bellingham. The way he can control the game is absolutely amazing. I think Casemiro said it best in 2018 when he said that Madrid will play however Tony decides to play. If we play fast, it's because he's playing faster. If we play slow, it's because he is playing slow. And there's something that I didn't recognize early on as soon as he came. But after watching him play in every game, when I started to become more consistent in looking at football, I saw that he is a talent that he just can't lose. He is never linked away from the club because of how important he is. Madrid will never let him go. I think, in my opinion, he is the most unique midfielder in the 21st century, in my opinion. I'm not going to say he's the best midfielder because it has a lot to do with opinion, and of course he can always say that Modric.
Most underrated.
Yeah, of course, because I was looking at when you look at when those guys make those videos of the best midfielder in the 21st century, his name is never at the top, because I don't think they understand how good he is and how amazing he can be. But for me, I wouldn't say the best. I would say the most unique and or underrated player, because a lot of midfielders are, of course, amazing and generational. But with him, at this time, I would have no issue losing Modric, even though I want to keep him for, of course, it's sentimental of him staying in the club and retiring here. But with Tony, it is something different. I think he's going to be the first player since that to retire in Madrid. There's not much I can say about him, because we have been talking about him for the past couple of years, and I actually have to hold my hands up. I thought that it maybe would have been best, for him to be on the bench, but that's not true.
Yeah, I mean, he's played his way back into the team. At the start of the season, we were talking about the four-man midfield of Tchouaméni, Camavinga, and Valverde and Bellingham, but he's made his way back into there, and I just think at this moment in time he's irreplaceable. He is completely irreplaceable. I just think even if we transition, I just think we're going to always have that bit missing. This guy who's going to dictate the tempo. We're hoping it's going to be Tchouaméni in the future, but I just don't know if you can do it at the same level as Toni Kroos does somehow. I just think, we found it all those years ago with Xabi Alonso's replacement as Toni Kroos. We found that guy who's going to dictate the tempo. Maybe we find it again, but I just don't, I'm not sure about that. But we're going to have to transition somehow, and I think, that's what we've got to say on Toni Kroos. But I thought Camavinga was excellent, just to talk about, some of the other guys in this performance. Camavinga just, his ability on the ball is fantastic. The way he was dribbling. I saw a clip about Declan Rice. Declan Rice made a tackle on someone. I can't remember who the tackle was on, but he made a tackle on someone, and it was a good tackle. It was 100% a good tackle, and it was being named as the best tackle. And I was just thinking, I've seen Eduardo Camavinga do this every damn week. This guy makes this tackle where he's coming from behind and hooks it away from the attacker, and just think, well, Camavinga does this every week and he doesn't get the recognition. He often gets booked for it somehow. So I just think I've been thinking about that, and I thought Lucas Vazquez was really solid as well. I think Lucas Vazquez, obviously not going to get the praise that he deserves, but I thought he was solid as ever. And so far this season, this has been his best season since the Zidane season, the Cafucas Vazquez season, where he was just amazing. That season was, truly ridiculous from that guy. But he's been really, really solid this year, and I've been really happy with Lucas Vazquez. So have you got anything else to say on the guys who started this game?
I must say that
we'll talk about the Joselu Arda situation at the end.
Yeah, I must say that the two fullbacks, Mendy and Lucas, who started the game, at the start of the season, I both wanted them not go on, but I didn't think that they were good enough to be a fullback quality for Madrid anymore. And they're both, I have to hold my hands up again and say that they're both doing well this season, so that's good for them. Of course, let me just say one last thing with Toni Kroos again, which I did forget to mention, that if he does return to the German national team, and he does go on to win Euro 2024, in my opinion, that makes him the best midfielder maybe ever to do something like that, in my opinion. But other than that, the starters, there's nothing else we can really add up. It was a good collective effort. Same with Camavinga, Valverde, all doing well to shut down the flanks and hindering Girona for that big win that we had today.
Yeah, I think the most appropriate place to finish this game off is the penalty, because again, Real Madrid missed a penalty at the death, which didn't matter this time, like it hasn't in quite a few times. But Real Madrid missed a penalty. Joselu misses his second this season, I believe. He has scored, I think he scored 2, but I'm not 100%. Yeah, so 50% is not great from the penalty spot. But I do maintain that Joselu is probably one of our best penalty takers. I just think he was unlucky at this point. He hit the post. It was it wasn't a great penalty. I think he should have given it to Arda Güler, and Arda Güler won the penalty. He should have given it to him. You can tell he's definitely not shy on confidence. I just think Arda should have demanded the ball, but he didn't. I think the Turkish are going to get after Joselu after this game. He didn't make a post after this one. I think Joselu's not going to want to stay on Instagram after this one, but overall, I just think Arda Güler played well. He won the penalty, obviously. I just want to see more of him. Next game against Rayo in the league, I think, is a perfect game for him to start. I think that is definitely one where he should start. Apart from that, I mean, we're 5 points clear. This is a huge win for the title race. We finally created some separation, which now means next week we're going to be dropping points against Rayo Vallecano as Real Madrid normally do, just to give Girona some more hope. But apart from that, I think La Liga, in terms of this game, I think we're done. I think we'll discuss a little bit the Leipzig game, but have you got anything else to say on this game?
I don't think the whole situation is as big as many people is making it to be. I think it's only because Arda Güler was the one who won the penalty. He's still lacking a goal for the club that many people have exaggerated this. It's an honesty for me, in my opinion. I honestly believe that it's just a missed penalty in the 90th, and that Joselu, he's no longer the main penalty taker. It's Bellingham, then Vinicius, then maybe Joselu. But I think it was a good hit if it had went in, because I think he placed it well. He just maybe jogged it a bit, in my opinion. But in terms of the Güler situation, Güler is not the penalty taker for the club. I mean, if it was like a Copa game, like a round of 32 match, or maybe a pre-season game, or maybe a last game of the season.
It doesn't seem designated anymore, though. I don't think it's like set penalty takers at this point.
Yeah, I don't think so, but I think that maybe Bellingham will take it if, let's say, we win one over in the Champions League game, like a 90th minute penalty. If we need a goal, I think it's going to be Bellingham who's going to take it. But that's how I feel. Or maybe Modric, because it's Modric. But nevertheless, I'm sometimes I'm a bit nervous when these players hit penalties, because neither Vinicius nor Modric nor Bellingham hit penalties like Cristiano or Kane or even Benzema. I wasn't 100% confident in Benzema when he hit penalties, but with Cristiano or Kane, when they're hitting a penalty, it's like a 95% chance they're going to score, because they smash it so hard once it's on target. Most likely it's a goal. And they have a lot of precision as well. I'm not that confident in the squad. Even if we have a striker, I'm more confident in a striker who normally just smashes the penalty. But this season, it's more placement, and it's sometimes a bit nervous seeing them move so slow towards the ball. We know there's going to be no power generated, and it's going to be if the goalkeeper guesses properly, it's going to be good. That's why it's not going to be a goal. That's why I think Joselu could be at least is it with some power that if it's on target, it's goal. But for me, I think Ancelotti will stick with Bellingham and Vinicius because they are the stars of the team. Of course, Modric due to how calm he is under pressure. But for me, it's an honest deal. I think Güler will get his opportunity coming to the end of the season once we keep up our form. I believe that he and Dia should start next weekend against Vallecano, because we need those fresh legs and we can't make the same mistake we made against Almeria. So it's good that Ancelotti learned from his mistake after that game. So I'm quite confident this time that we can see at least some kind of changes.
Yeah, 100%. And hopefully we get some rotation in that game. Even if we do drop points, we have created a separation now, which is good to see. And it looks like we've taken a bit of a mental toll on Girona as well. Jan Kuto was crying after the game. It looks like they've taken a bit of a hit from this game. That's fine. I don't care. I don't really care, to be honest. But yeah, let's talk about the Leipzig game quickly, because we're going to be playing Leipzig midweek, Champions League back finally. Obviously, it's the round of 16. Big game against Leipzig. In Leipzig, in Germany at the Red Bull Arena. I think it's going to be a tough game. Leipzig have been on bad form recently. They've really been on bad form actually since the New Year, since their winter break. They haven't won a game, I believe. I don't know what the case is this week, but I don't think they've won a game. They haven't been on great form, but still they've got weapons. They can cause us problems. I think Lois Openda's the main problem for us because of our defensive situation. No Rodrygo for this game, so obviously it's just a case of whether Nacho can get fit for this game. If Nacho can get fit, obviously Lois Openda, the main issue with him is he's really damn quick. This guy is really damn quick, and we're gonna play a high line. Openda scored two goals against City so far this season, I believe, in that game where they completely threw it away. But I think Lois Openda's been really, really good. He's been a really good signing for Leipzig this season. And Xavi Simons, he's been fantastic as well. He's going to cause us a little bit of an issue as well. Obviously he likes to roam around. He plays a bit strange. He's unconventional. You don't see him in the typical positions that someone would take up. He'd be roaming in and around the box, but he can drop deep. He can help about a bit like Jude Bellingham actually. But overall, I just think I think they can cause us issues. I think Vinicius is going to have to do something in this game. I think he's going to have to cause them a little bit of issues. I think I'm overall quite happy with how this game's going to turn out. But hopefully Vini exploits some highline spaces in their game. Hopefully Jude gets in behind, Rodrygo gets in behind. Hopefully the Champions League performance perform in this game, because Leipzig have caused us issues. Hopefully we know that Timo Werner's long gone, so thank God for that, because that guy always causes us problems. But I'm overall happy with coming into this game. What are your thoughts on the Leipzig game?
Leipzig haven't been at their best. We have figures for that game, of course, but that means nothing. Of course, it's the Champions League, and if you're into the Champions League final stages, it means that you are a good team, in my opinion. So, of course, I'm looking forward to the game. I'm looking forward to a win, of course. We have to hope that Bellingham will be ready for that game. The backline is going to be Nacho, Bellingham, Nacho, Tchouaméni, Carvajal, and Mendy. I believe that's why Mendy was substituted, for it to be fresh that game with Lunin and goal. So I'm a bit happy that Carvajal can be back to his natural position, and of course that Tchouaméni will be in centre back again. And I must say that if Rudiger was fit, I would have preferred Tchouaméni and Rudiger to be the partnership, not Nacho. But seeing that he's not fit, if Tchouaméni have another excellent performance, I believe in the return fixture at the Bernabeu, it should be Tchouaméni and Rudiger and not Nacho, unless maybe we win like 5, which is not likely because Leipzig, they're going to come with the A game, they're going to work hard. As you know, in Germany, it's always a tense atmosphere, so they're going to come in for 100% for that game.
I think that is it for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye bye.